Hi, guys. Welcome back to Tea Time with Kate and Keith. And today we're going to be talking about what makes a good routine and how it can set you up for success. So I'm going to let Keith kind of take this and start us off.
So we're going to start off with setting a routine definitely sets you up for success, and just the building the habits and sticking with them. It builds structure in your life. It builds just accountability, and it just makes you more aware of what's going on. I think it just adds a little bit more control into your life too. Like if you need some sense of control and like in your everyday life, definitely setting a routine in the morning or late right before you go to bed is definitely where a great place to start. Because if you set one, say in the morning, you have control over what's happening. Like right after you wake up, you know what's about to happen. It's great to have, especially, and it's also good to have one at night. So like right before you go to bed, you can relax, go through your routine, and then just you have that time that you know what's going to happen. You know what you can change and modify and do whatever to make it best fit for you and all that. It just makes it makes life a little bit easier.
Right. So something that I kind of want to, I guess, approach this with is like, routine means something different to every single person. What you ask my routine is compared to Keith's, compared to somebody else that we know, it's going to be different for everybody. So some people like to just have a morning routine and that's really it. Some people like to have just a night routine to set them up for the next day. And then some people like to have a daily routine where they have like both morning and night and then sometimes even in the middle. And so coming up with your routine has to be personal. Like you can use what other people have like set up as, I guess, like an outline, but
Yeah,
that can't be your routine because what you do in your life is going to be different than what somebody else does.
exactly.
So you always want to take, like, if this is the first time you've ever set up a routine and you're like, I don't know where to start. Yes, I suggest going to Pinterest or like looking at somebody else's social media. Maybe they have something like a routine set up for you that you're like, I really like that. I think that would work. But then don't just rely on that to be your routine. Build off of that. Take
Right.
something that they like to do in the morning and try and implement it, but then also implement your own things into it. Something else that I personally do is I can't be the person who sets a routine like I have to do this at the start of my day and then end my day with this. Like that's not the kind of person I am. But I like to use to-do lists. To-do lists can be a routine because it's something that you can personalize to each and every day. I
Yeah,
can't have a daily routine because all of my days are completely different. And so being able to have something that's really flexible, like a to-do list, really helps me. And that's kind of what I use.
absolutely. I've once heard or I saw something on routines like a while ago, and it was like take every small aspect of like your what you do in the morning. So waking up, eating, brush your teeth, get dressed, make that you can easily put that into your routine. Like you
Mhm.
can like it doesn't have to be scheduled out, but you can easily sit down and just say, okay, this is exactly what I do in the mornings. This is everything I need to have accomplished in the mornings before I go off and do the bigger stuff. Start with the micro actions, and then build from there, because the micro actions, sorry, those micro actions it's everything you already have to do, so why not make that into what like a structured setup.
Right. And so I think to kind of build off of that, it's the way to, I think, really think about it is you want to, when building a routine, the first thing they always recommend that you do, and I also recommend you do, is sit down and evaluate every single thing that you do consistently, like every single day.
Yeah,
So I wake up in the morning and I make my bed and I drink my coffee and I take a shower, I whatever, like whatever it is that you already do, take that and build off of it and
exactly.
implement. Like, you know what? I think I really want to start working out. That's a habit. That's something that I want to start doing. Put it in your evening routine, add it to your morning routine, but don't forget that you have to consider that you already are doing things in the morning, and you don't want to disrupt what you're already doing in the morning or at night because you're trying to force yourself to do too many things, because you don't want your routine to become overwhelming.
Right. Yeah.
So yeah, so something else I wanted to bring up before I forget is something I started looking into was a new thing that I had never seen. I've seen like routines, I've seen to-do lists, and then like different versions of how you can do different like routines and things like that. But one that I've come across lately is a habit tracker. So if you're somebody who doesn't want to do a routine because it makes you feel like more successful, like maybe that's not your goal, but maybe your goal is to try and make sure that you're committed to doing what you already do. Like you want to make sure that you're getting up and doing this thing each day because you already plan to do it, but maybe you're spotty every once in a while, like you don't do it consistently, whatever. That's a habit. Morning routines and night routines and any routine becomes a habit. It may not start off as one, but it does become one.
Exactly.
And so
over time, yeah, it will eventually become a habit that you naturally go straight into doing. You won't even notice you're doing it.
Right. So pretty much how I've seen people do this is everybody's doing it differently. Some people, they have like a whiteboard and they just have the whiteboard up for like that month. Some people do it just on pieces of paper and then they have like a binder that they put together. Some people grab just like a plain old notebook that they've got laying around, or they go buy a notebook for it. And at the very front of the notebook, using this one as an example, you write down every habit or a thing that you want to accomplish. Like it's your goals. Like what is it that you want to do every single day? Or maybe every other day or like whatever. And then for that month, so our next month coming up is February. Let's just say in February, I wanted to wake up and drink a glass of water each morning and make my bed every single day and or whatever. I would then every single night sit down and be like, okay, I did accomplish this today, or I didn't accomplish it, so I don't get like the goal there. Yeah. And then at the very end of the month, you can sit down and it's a way to observe what you did within that month and be like, okay, well, this is the habit that I excelled in. I did this every single day. I didn't break it. There was not a missing day, period. So I've achieved that goal. But then it's also a way to look at it and be like, okay, so this is the habit that I want to implement, but I didn't do so great this month. So that's the one I'm going to focus on the most next month. You know what I'm saying? So like, it's a way to, I guess, keep yourself accountable for the things that you're trying to implement into your life. But it's a really good one. It's something that I wanted to start doing a while ago, but it kind of like just slipped my mind. And I was like, I don't have time for this, but my to-do list really has been like helping me. So I realized that I personally didn't need to do the habit tracker because it's not, I don't want to force myself to do something that is a waste of time to me.
Right.
But if it's not a waste of time to you and it's something that you really find valuable, then that's something that you should consider doing. And if you're looking for more examples on that, again, Pinterest is a good place. Everybody's posting stuff on Pinterest. That's where I found it. So maybe we can post some photos of those on our Instagram account for you guys to use as examples. But that was something I really saw as like kind of cool. I was like, I've never seen this before.
Nice. So. Yeah. I'm not as organized as Kate is. That's I don't know. Maybe eventually you guys will see how unorganized I am with stuff like that. Because when I do a to-do list, I'll write it all on a piece of paper, and then when I decide to change, if I need to add something, I'll write it on that piece of paper. Or if I just feel like it, I'll start a whole new piece of paper. Or I have a whiteboard calendar that I write stuff on, so I put some things on there. But my notes are usually all over the place. So I'll start one page full of one like a to-do list, and then I'll start a whole nother page full of like, here's what I need to accomplish with that to-do list. So I'm definitely not as organized. I throw everything around, but it helps me because the chaos, it makes sense to me.
Yeah.
So that's definitely like, do what works for you. Yeah.
That's something I think is the best thing about like us working together and like talking about these things because people really do get two different perspectives.
Yeah.
Because I'm the kind of like, for example, right now, for those of you who are watching this and not just listening to it, like when I organize my life, I buy notebooks and I have like a bajillion of them and they're all different colors and each color goes to certain things. And then for my to-do list, it's a whiteboard that sits in my room and I have different colored expo markers and like each different category gets a different color. So like school is red and cleaning is orange or like whatever. Like I am very color coordinated. I have to have things a certain way. Like some people think I'm crazy, and most of the people who interact with me, especially Keith, we have these conversations all the time. They think I'm insane, but that's just my way of doing things. Like I have to be very organized. I have to have things in certain places in order for me to be productive. And if you're like that, I mean, like join the club. But
Well, yeah. So you have someone who's organized, and you have me who's over here just throwing papers all over the place, just writing everything out and being disorganized in a chaotically like if it's in a way that I understand that works, and she does things that in a way that she understands and works for her. So
right.
Seriously, everything is just on your own terms. Do everything the way you want it to.
Exactly. And like some people, I personally don't understand this because the chaos drives me nuts. Like I think it's more of I can't remember where I put certain things, which is why it drives me nuts, because I'll be like, dang it, I can't find that one piece of information that I wrote down in this spot and I have no idea where it is. Which, like you said, you use like the same notebook for like multiple different things. Like that drives me insane. I can't.
Yeah,
but
well, it's not just notebooks. It's literally loose pieces of paper. Like I have 3 different loose pieces of paper for like that I keep adding different notes. The notes on these pages don't even correspond to each other.
Yeah,
so, like, but it works. Like I know that if I need that specific piece of information that I had written down on one of those 3 pieces of paper, I know I need to go back to those, and it's on one of them. So I just have to go back and look, and I'm like, okay, great. I put it there. I remember writing it on those pieces of paper. I just have to go back to those ones and find what I'm looking for.
Right, exactly. And then like the other thing that we're completely different on organization wise and like how we be productive.
Wait. How did this go from routines to organization?
It's still a routine though, because you have to find the organization that works for you in order to be productive and have your routine work for you. Because you can be a person who has your routine out on a whiteboard in your room, so it's like you see it every single day. Yeah. Or you could be that person who's just like, you know what? It's all in here. It's all in my head. I don't need to write it down. Like I am not that kind of person.
No, I can't do that either.
If I don't see it, it's not getting done.
Yeah.
And that's
the sight out of mind kind of thing.
Yeah, the thing that's really interesting that I've seen in a lot of people, but I see it a lot between us, right? Is like you use a calendar.
Yeah.
I don't calendars drive me nuts on the wall because to me it's like the only thing I'm looking at is what I have going on in that month. I'm like, listen, I gotta do it day by day. Like my days are so chaotic that I need to know just the daily because I can't even think about the monthly.
Right. So, okay, here's another thing I do, part of my routine. Every night before I go to bed, I will change the current day, the number from black to red, so that I know that it's so that I know exactly what the current day is, what days we haven't gone through just yet. The red is everything we've gone through already. Instead of crossing out the box, I just change the color of the number. So every night before I go to bed, I will change the color. And I will also update any notes I have on the board to I'll keep, so I have a days counter on the top of it for my own reasons. And I'll just change the number every night from to the next number down, and I'll change the color of the current day. And that's what I do every night before I go to bed. That is the one thing I'm being consistent with, and I make sure to do it.
That's the thing that's really weird for me is that when I talk to people who like I kind of already do routines like just by default, like that's just kind of how my brain is, which a lot of people think I have like extreme OCD over things, which to be honest I probably do, but like my day can't start until I've done certain tasks. Like when I'm serious about this, like if I get up and my bed isn't made, that whole day is unproductive. It's insane. Like my whole day is ruined because I didn't start off with certain things.
Yeah.
So that's just something that I've always, I guess, had.
Mm-hmm.
And so when people talk to me about routines, I sit here and I'm like, well, my routine is just doing a to-do list because I already do the routine aspect of it. It's more of I just need to see what I have to complete. And that's my routine, is like making sure that I've completed certain tasks.
Yeah.
But like as for the routine part, like now, especially since we moved and like I'm in a new environment, I'm a lot more motivated because like my space has changed, which is a weird thing in itself. But
yeah,
it's definitely something that like you either start off having it and then you have to add things to it, or you're the kind of person who doesn't have it at all and you need to completely start from scratch and start over and be like, okay, this is my new routine. So it really just depends for each person. Exactly. But I think that that's really cool, is like, especially being able to talk to different people, which is why like we don't really talk about this much, but I think it's really good to collaborate with other people, especially when you're starting to get started on anything that we've talked about in any previous video, or this one is on its own, is just to collaborate with people who already either have a routine and are doing really well with it, but then also not to just talk to those people, talk to the people who are struggling to start the routine. Like they want to start it, they have that slight motivation, they have everything planned out. It's just the I haven't done it yet situation, because then you can look at their thing and maybe even start motivating each other and be like, hey, well, like maybe this can be something that we work on together. And or you can get feedback on them and be like, well, the reason I'm struggling with this is because of blank. And maybe that's something that you're struggling with, so that you can find and compare and contrast everything and find what's going to work best for you. Because I think it's like everything. You can't start doing something without knowing how it works.
Yeah, pretty much.
Like you can't just wake up and build a house. Like that's not, I mean, I wish I could just wake up and build a house. That'd be fun. But I can't do that because I need to study and like learn how you build everything, the different structures. Like there's just so much to learn about it. You have to break it down and go slow and learn everything about it. And that goes with routines. You have to start at the basics and learn and look up some ideas. Watch, like there are tons. I kid you not, I did this because I'm obsessive. When I watch YouTube videos, I watch the videos of people who they're like a day in a life of productivity with me. Like that's the kind of stuff I watch. And it's weird, but I watch it actually for background sound. And it's just like listening to them talk about what they do in their life almost motivates me to make me do stuff. But something they have on YouTube, if this is something that you're interested in, is go watch a ton of different people, because they put them up. They're like, my morning routine for winter, my morning routine for like this, my morning routine, my night routine, whatever. Just go watch a ton of them. Like just take time, sit down, watch all of these different types of people, different routines, and then be like, oh, I really liked that. Jot it down. Okay, that one, I don't know, that one's not really my thing. Skip. Oh, I really like that one. And then like, it doesn't even have to be just specifically the routine, but you can pull different things that you like from all of these different routines and then build your own.
Yeah.
Which is where you should start. If you've never had a routine before and this is something you're interested in doing, again, start from square one, use the copycat method, take what other people are doing, try to implement it into your life. Once you've started like getting that habit, then you can start being like, okay, this isn't really working for me, and like revise your routine and make it more personal.
Yeah, pretty much.
But you have to start off with something.
The goal with anything we tell you to do, or like the goal of anything that we're giving you ideas to do, is to personalize it. Make it your own. Do it on your own terms. Make it just everything that you enjoy doing. Seriously though, like when you're doing a routine, I know a lot of the times for a lot of people it's very monotonous, and then you just do the same things every day, like depending on what routine you're doing, whatever you're doing. And if you don't find that fun, make it fun. Make it so that you'll consistently do it, that you consistently want to do it, so that you can build those habits, so that you can eventually become successful in whatever you're doing.
Exactly. And that goes to show too, like, we always say this, we're saying it constantly. People are different. People are always different. So, what works for one person isn't going to work for another. What works for me isn't going to work for you.
Exactly.
And things like that. But, like, for example, I know so many people who are going on this, like, it's like it's either no social media or it's no technology. It really just depends on the person, but they're pretty similar in itself.
Mhm.
Where, like, when people wake up, they have to have an hour of them being awake before they'll even check their phone. Like that's something that works for them. I'm the kind of person who I hate getting up in the morning. Like, I dread waking up in the morning. So what my thing is I wake up, and the second I wake up, the first thing I do is I set like a 10-minute timer on my phone. And that is my time to go through Pinterest. That is my time to go through any social media. That is my time to answer any text messages, whatever, that came to me over the night. And then after that 10 minutes timer's up, then the phone goes down because now my brain is awake.
Right. Yeah.
Like, I can't just get out of bed and try and function. Like, I need my brain to already start like working while I'm still in bed in order to motivate me to get out of bed.
There's another great example of how we're different. Kate wakes up and gives herself 10 minutes to get ready to mentally wake up. I have an 8 o'clock alarm that I have to get up to, and then I have to take my dogs out, bring them back in, feed them, and then I sit back down on the computer and get to work on all the social stuff. That has been what my routine has been for a little bit now. So I don't really give myself, hey, you have to wake up, just give it like 10 minutes. No, it's 8 o'clock, get up, get the dogs out.
Yeah, timers, especially now that everything has really moved to like online, like school's been moved online. Everything that I've had to do in my life is online now because we're stuck at home and we can't really do anything else in person.
Mhm.
Timers, like, one, it brings back my childhood to when my parents were like, okay, you have 10 minutes to play and then we have to do homework. Like, that whole situation, a little traumatizing there, but they've been really helpful. Like, it might sound really silly to set a timer, but like, it kind of, I don't know, it's like a thing that I'm used to. And it's kind of the way I'm kind of thinking about this is like, when you're in school, at least when you're in high school, which is what I still am in, I associate certain like finishing times with like our class bells. Like, that's just how I've been raised, and that's how school works, and that's kind of how your brain becomes like processed too. So when I hear like an alarm or I hear something go off, I associate that with, okay, time to move to the next task.
Yeah.
Right. So that's kind of like already how I've been hardwired, and I kind of can't get rid of that. So I'm using it to my advantage, and setting timers for myself has really helped me time manage things, because then I'm not waking up and sitting on social media for an hour, which is what I used to do, and then starting my day. I'm giving myself 10 minutes to fool around on social media, whatever, and then I have to be productive. And then once I'm productive, then I can have more time on just doing Netflix, whatever I want to do. But then I set another timer and I'm like, okay, I got an hour to myself. And then after that hour is up, the timer goes off. I have to be productive. So that's kind of like how I've associated certain things now. And it's really helped like me stay focused, because something I think we realize is that when we stare at our screens all day, we really lose track of how much time like we've been doing something.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of like when you're in class, like you sit there and you're in a 55-minute class, or even if you're in college and you're in a 3-hour class, depending on what you're doing. Eventually you're sitting there and you become so accustomed to it, you forget it, like time seems shorter because you're just so used to it.
Exactly. Yeah.
And you're so zoned into what you're doing. So maybe that's something
You're
you
just
guys
sitting
want to
staring
try.
in space. I get that.
Yeah, like if this is something where you're like, I can't time manage to save my life, like I sit down to do something and then like 4 hours has gone by and that's not the amount of time I wanted to be working on something, set a timer, because it will tell you like, okay, it's this time and now you got to go do whatever you have to go do. Like, it's been really helpful. So I don't know if that's something y'all want to try out, but
yeah.
Just thought I'd throw that in there because it goes along with routine. It's like time management and routine are in the same thing. So
yeah, time management or routine is all about time management.
it really is.
once you get down a routine, then you can easily manage what time you have and what time you're willing to spend on things that are like um putting like I don't know, sitting down and watching Netflix or something. So
Mhm.
you've been productive all day. You're like, okay, I've decided I've been really productive all day. I've gotten this, and this done. It went really well. I'm really happy with the progress I've made. I'm gonna reward myself now with like an hour of Netflix because movies are
Right.
hours long. Like you'll watch one movie and then that's it. Or like if you're doing this in like in the middle of the day, you'll sit down and just be um not non-productive for a specific set of time, like a set
Right.
time, and then you go right back to being productive.
So, something I've thought about, because we talk about giving yourself a mental break. This is something that I am in such favor of. Like, even if it's a 10-minute thing where you just sit in a
Mental breaks are
corner and
so
you don't do
important.
anything, you just need that time to do nothing because you're
Yeah,
working yourself all day. So, everybody's days are different. Everybody has different schedules. So if you're like, I can't afford to take an hour to myself, take 30 minutes to yourself, take 10 minutes to yourself, take 5 minutes to yourself. Like,
take
just
something.
give yourself a second
Yeah,
to just not do anything, gather your thoughts, and then keep going.
yeah.
Um, but something that I think is really important, and I've noticed that a lot of people do this, and I mean, if this is what works for you, that's fine. I'm not going to hate on it, but I just personally don't see how this, like, I guess, benefits your life. Some people, what they do is they associate meals, so like breakfast, lunch, and dinner, as a mental break. But that's not a mental break, because even within that given time, you're still doing something. You're eating your food, and some people don't just sit down and eat. Like, you eat and you're watching something, or you're eating and you're doing something, like, or you're still working. Like,
Yeah.
that's still not a mental break. You need that time to just relax. And associating that break time with food is really bad, at least in my own opinion, because you're making that like free time, but that's not free time. That makes sense.
That makes sense. Like, I guess I'm a little bit guilty of that then because a lot of times I'll take my free time as of eating just because I can't do work when I'm eating. I'm
Right.
the kind of person that I'm messy when I'm doing work and eating. So if I'm eating and doing work, I will mess up whatever I'm working on. So I have to take a break. That forces me to actually sit down and do nothing but eat and relax. So
So
what I'll do is I'll actually like I'll eat, watch whatever it is I feel like watching because I can't do anything else, and then maybe I'll sit there for a little, maybe like an extra 10 minutes or so, or whatever how
right.
long the video is after I finish eating, and just sit there and do nothing.
Right. That's exactly like what I was just going to get into too, is like you can associate your break time around a meal.
Yeah.
But you don't want the meal to be that break.
Don't let it be the focus. Don't let it be the
Yeah.
focus.
So you can be like, okay, well, I'm going to eat. And then it's always good too. Like, you don't want to eat and then go and, like, especially if you're someone who is physically having to work, like you have to walk around and do things for your job. You don't want to associate, okay, I'm going to eat and then go straight into work. Like, you usually want to sit there for a few minutes, like let your food digest for at least like 10 minutes anyways, and then go physically try and do stuff. I guess it's I'm not an expert in health, so don't like come at me for this, but something I've seen, could be wrong, is that um, if you don't let your food digest properly, like, it leads to a lot of problems, not like big health problems, but like, I don't know, it changes your digestive system. It's really weird. So they always say that you should, like, it's kind of like the whole swimming thing. Like, when you go swimming, if you get out and you eat, you want to wait like 15 minutes before you go swim.
Right.
Even they associate swimming with not just like Olympic swimming, they mean like just getting in a pool and sitting in water. That's still considered swimming. So I guess that's a way to think about it. Is like giving your food time to digest, and then while you're sitting there letting your food digest, you're finished eating, watch a show, watch a podcast, or
Yeah.
listen to a podcast, or watch a TED talk. I don't care what you're watching, but do nothing.
Exactly.
So yeah. I think that that's all I have on this topic.
I think this is a great place to stop here. Like, yeah, routines, seriously, just along with anything health related, mental health related, anything that like is personal, do it on your own terms. Do what makes what fits with you. Make sure it's like what you're comfortable with. Don't do You can copy someone else, but make sure that eventually it becomes your own.
Right.
Okay.
And to sum up this video, just in case we were a little out of the chaos for you, the point of this video was just to talk about how you can set up a routine, how you can implement that routine, and how you can be successful with that routine.
Yes.
So
Cool.
we hope you enjoyed listening to this, and we will see you on the next episode.
See you next week.
Bye.